Hello. Welcome, everybody. It is your host, Na Kwale, and I'm back again with another episode on Living in True Divinity. So, this episode is going to be really jam-packed with a lot of valuable information. We're going to be discussing the difference between true divinity and religion. All right. I'm really excited because I have my first ever guest on the show, and I'm so excited to have him. He is, oh my gosh, a God within himself. He is a religious scholar, a philosopher, a theologist. He's all of those things. And so I'm so excited to introduce him to the show. Welcome, Innocent, based out of Accra, Ghana. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So I did kind of let you know what this episode was going to be about. And so I guess I wanted to, first let's introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Basically, I want to say could I say innocent. Basically, I mostly don't want to call myself innocent. I prefer using my local names because that really gives me the identity of who I am. That's it.
Okay.
So I will say I am Ame Kwame, could I say. Ame, that's the name of my clan, where I'm coming from. Kwame, the day I was born. And then could I say is my surname. Yeah.
Okay. And does that name have a special meaning?
Well, it actually just tells you where I'm from.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Because I know here in Ghana, names typically have a meaning. So what's your day name?
Kwame.
Yeah. So it's Saturday born.
Saturday born. Yeah,
oh.
Exactly.
Energy.
Full energy. And Saturday borns are said to be gods. It's a day of the god. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the day. They said the day God was born.
Wow. Yes. I believe that because the energies that Kwame's have, it's very
super dope.
Dominant, very I'm here, and this is what we're going to do.
They say Kwames don't lose. Kwames are born to succeed automatically.
Wow.
Yes, so if you're Kwame, you're not succeeding and things are not working out for you, then you should really check yourself. Yes.
May not be a true Kwame. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive deep, right? Because, here in this podcast, we're providing the listeners with information and the benefits of living in a state of being of divine energy. And so we talk a lot about what that means, the benefits that come along with that. But I think the confusion that a lot of people suffer from is, they get caught up in religious constructs. So I kind of want you to, let me know, what do you feel is true divinity?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think true divinity, actually, from my own perspective, it's finding yourself. Yeah. When you actually talk about divinity or divine, that means godlike. Okay? And the Bible actually tells you that ye are gods. Now, if you even put the Bible aside, okay, there is something actually in you that even without knowing anything, that thing consistently teaches you what to do. It tells you what to do.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like when you're living in divinity, it's not really a right or a wrong. It's more so the energy of just flowing and being and trusting and being authentic in who you are. Whether that be you're being authentic about your shadow side, the darkness that lives within you, and the light. And it's balancing those two and, kind of trusting the inner God in you, because if God is omnipresent, God is everywhere, God is always watching even when nobody else is watching. So it's kind of that idea that you already have that within you. And so tell me a little bit more about how you will compare that to religion and the differences.
religion actually is a man-made. And Karl Marx in his writing said religion is actually the opium of the masses. It's actually medication given to people to act in a different way, in a certain way. You understand?
Yeah.
Without religion, okay, people will find, let's say, people will be able to find themselves. They will be able to find truly who they are. Religion actually just teaches them to think in the pattern, thereby losing who they are, and then following what someone thinks they should be, or what someone thinks life should be. Someone who has found himself or found his own ideology, isolated himself, meditated, being able to, someone who has been able to go deep within himself, found out what actually he or she thinks life is. Okay? And has reasons and ideologies that works for him. Comes to impose it, or comes to what? Get people and then impose his thoughts on them. And as people see how the person moves or does his things, okay, they'll be like, okay, maybe we're trying to follow this person. And now the person now gets on to what? Teach them what he or she thinks is the right thing. Meanwhile, each and every one of you has that God, that divine in you. That if you explore it, you will find
It will lead you.
Amazing things within yourself. It will lead you to who you are. Have you noticed that people are not really actually reaching their full potential? Why? Because they are following people's steps and not following their own step. If you kind of like sit within yourself, if you actually sit down and then look deep within you, you will find there's an endless fountain of knowledge flowing. You just need to tap into it and channel it the way you want it to go.
Yeah.
In the realm of the divine, that's the spirit, okay, there is no right or wrong. It's actually what you do. Let's say you can realize that, you can see that almost all religions tells you that do unto others as you want to be done to you. Christians say that, Buddhists say that in their own terms, Muslims say that in their own ways, and then everyone says it in their own way. So in the realm of the spirit, you realize that this is the basic rule that happens. And if we're able to live within this rule, no one crosses anyone's line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we grow. But then religion comes to now tell you that this is wrong, this is right. If you follow my path, you are wrong. If you follow my path, you are right. If you follow this person's path, you are wrong. And that actually brings division, war, and a whole lot of chaos. Actually, I will say the invention of most of these troubles we have in this life is true religion.
Yeah.
That is it. If we're to sit and then look at the divine in us, look at who we actually are, then we would know that we actually lost.
Yeah.
Religion and divinity, I will say, one actually depends on one, but in a wrong way.
Yeah.
Religion depends on divinity in a wrong way. Because people who actually are religious, they only believe, therefore they don't know.
Yep.
Do you know your mom?
Yes.
Do you know your dad?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know Jesus?
Yes.
Have you seen him before?
No.
Have you seen your mom before?
Yes.
Okay. So do you believe your mom is your mom?
Yes.
No, you don't believe. You know.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And Jesus?
Yeah.
If you see Jesus walking, will you know this is Jesus?
No.
Okay. Do you know him?
I believe in him.
Exactly. So this is it.
That's
So
it.
religion thrives on belief. Okay? And divinity thrives on knowledge.
Yeah. like just like natural knowledge, right? And
Yes.
I know we talked about this in the past, like you believe that we need to live according to the laws of nature.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because I too agree that nature will guide us. It's been here way before humans. So
Growing up, my dad always tells me, don't work against nature, work with nature and you'll be okay. If you don't want to suffer, okay, or if you don't want to veer off, if you don't want to kind of like live a purposeless life, just work with nature and life will be very simple for you.
wow, very powerful. Yeah.
Get the idea here. If you have a plot of land in your house and you wake up in the morning and put in seeds, okay, and keep watering them. There are days it will rain and you don't have to water them. The sun will shine to provide photosynthesis. And then before you know, you have fruits to eat.
Yeah.
You understand? You are living with nature. You are tilling the land. You get some animals around you, feed them. They provide you with company. Okay? And if you're not a vegan, yeah, you can eat the meat. You can eat the eggs of your birds, eat the meat of the chicken, and other stuff. You are feeding yourself. You see? So life will become very simple. You will have your plants, which you eat from. You will have your, what's it called? Your what's it called? Animals who will keep you company. And then all these things
Coexist
with one another. Now, we are trying to be so smart in the sense that we're cutting down all trees, canning every food, making everything artificial, okay? And then what? Making the natural, okay, extinct. Making the natural extinct. You understand? We are making the natural extinct and then now living an artificial life. And this will take us where? To the hospital.
Yeah.
And someone makes money from us.
Yeah.
And our whole life we will be living on medications. Meanwhile, if you live naturally, okay, the plants you plant will give you oxygen. Okay, you will give it carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So just give and take everything.
Yeah, everything is reciprocal, and that is the law of nature.
So this is just the basic. Let's say I will say this is just a basic way of living and then enjoying nature. And actually, you should know that all these are living things. The animals you see around, the plants you cultivate and everything are all living beings.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's how you relate. See, if we cultivate the habit of respect to ourselves and others and animals and everything around us, we realize that life is actually simple.
Very simple. Yeah, and I really love how you talked about that, because for me, I wanted to talk about, what role does religion play in your life? But I want to talk about how love is my religion, right? And you'll hear a lot of Rastafarians talk about this, but this coincides with the whole idea that everything in this world is based off of loving and nurturing so that you can reap a harvest, right? So we shouldn't hate our peers. We should love on people. We should, show compassion. We should show grace like God would show us grace, right? And so in talking about reciprocal energy, that is how you can kind of reap the abundance from being in that religion of, showing love and things of that nature. So I really like how you talked about that. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about the religious beliefs or practices that you follow that are kind of somewhat of a social construct that many people do. Maybe this is doing libations, or maybe this is doing herbal baths, or maybe this is even visiting the altar at your local mosque or church. Like, what are some things that you participate in, that you find help you reach a higher level of elevation, or higher consciousness.
All right. I think I have been fortunate enough to have learned several religions and have practiced with them actually. So along the line, I have come to a conclusion of not judging any religion or not putting any religion down to the other. I keep them all in high esteem, and now have chosen a path which in my mind, I think is the way I want to go. Okay? In my mind, I think it's the way I want to go. And I have to convince myself to follow that path. But then, with all the other religions, I will say all teaches you one thing, but in different ways.
Yeah.
So if they are all saying they believe in God, they are all teaching you to believe in God, but from different perspectives. I am an Ewe. The Anglo of an Ewe. Okay, so if you say Ewe, Ewe is actually broad. We have Anglos, we have Pedomes and other stuff, but I'm the Anglo. Right? And predominantly we are traditionalists. Okay? So we say Mau Sobolisa.
Mau Sobolisa.
That is God Most High. Okay, so we believe there is God. There's a supreme. Okay? That is where I hail from. My people actually believe there's a God. So we call them traditionalists or fetish. Yeah, but that's how generally everyone calls them. And I happen to be in the Islam who also kind of like believe in Allah, who is also up there and then does everything, or has done everything. I went to Ikanka and realized they also have the supreme being. That's the Sugma. Okay. Who they also kind of like believe is a God who listens to everyone. You understand? But all these, I've been asking myself, okay, and there are other things I've been into Buddhism and other stuff. But in all this, I always ask myself one question. These are all religions people came out with. Traditional religion, I think, has been the traditional religion has been there since ages, and we wouldn't actually be able to tell who actually is the founder of it. Okay. Christianity is actually a religion that is founded through Christ or by Christ. It's actually the followers of Christ who came and called themselves Christians. Okay. Ekanka was started by Sri Harold, Paul Twitchell. Okay, and now it's being led by Sri Harold Clem, who is in the US right now, so he's still alive. He's actually living now, yeah. Islam by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Buddhists will say Gautama Buddha, and a whole lot. Okay, but one thing you look at is they all lead to what? What do they all preach? Loving your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and doing unto others as you want to be done to you.
Yeah.
So it's how they love, or how they teach you to love, or how they teach you to live. Okay, that marks the difference in their religion. Okay, basically I always say religion is brought out of a culture. Okay, the Christians are practicing the culture of Jesus Christ, what he brought.
Yeah.
Muslims are practicing the Arab culture. The Buddhists are practicing the Eastern culture.
Yeah.
So this is something I always say. I will say that everyone should practice their own culture. Okay, should practice religion in their own culture.
Yeah.
And that would have made things.
And so, they talk about, like, for instance, they really demonize honoring the ancestors. And so I feel like that could be a part of it, right? If it's my culture for my ancestors and my great-grandmother, for instance, my great-grandmother used Florida water. My great-grandmother used anointing oil. She had all sorts of remedies that people would consider voodoo or hoodoo or whatever you want to call it, but it's ritualistic things that she learned from her ancestors. And so I notice people would like to demonize you practicing something that comes from your cultural heritage. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something I wanted to touch on, was that, we all follow certain religion and practices based off of our upbringing and our cultural environment. If I lived in India, I would be probably a Buddhist or a Hindu. So I think that we need to expand our minds and be respectful of people's culture and, like, understand that there is no one way to achieve the Most High or achieve that divine interaction that we would get, whether we practice Christianity or whatever it is that we choose to practice.
People actually demonize what they don't know.
Yeah.
You know, Christians are saying Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. Muslims are saying Islam is the way. Everyone is giving their own way. That's what they think. But like I said before, okay, if you go deep within yourself, you realize that all these are just telling you the same thing. Okay? They're all telling you the same thing, just in different languages. You speak English, I speak Ewe. Someone speaks Lebanese, someone speaks Spanish, someone speaks Japanese and stuff. Okay? So it's just how you do your stuff. Because we don't understand each other, that is what causes all these things. So I always tell people, I agree with Karl Marx's definition of religion. I agree with Karl Marx's definition of religion, which says...
Just pause it. You see what I'm saying? He do that all the time.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with Karl Marx's definition of religion. That says religion is opium of mass. Being the opium of mass is actually... Opium is actually something that is kind of a medication or a drug given to people to behave the way they want to behave. So this is actually something that is given to people. Religion is actually given to people to live in a certain way those who brought it want them to live.
Yeah.
Instead of they living the way they are supposed to live. Some way, somehow, I've been saying this to people. I said, okay, Christians and Muslims are saying we are on earth and then hoping to die, and then okay, after death we'll go to heaven and stuff. Imagine how will they feel if we die, get to the grave and realize there's no heaven. What's going to happen?
No.
In fact, if there's a way to come back and beat some priests, people will do that.
Yes. And I actually think this was just a theory that I've always had, that, I think the goal is for us to actually try to find heaven on earth. I think that God gave us this world, right, to use it for nature, to use it as our work, utilize it in every way we can, right? Whether that's through people, through nature, and we create our own hells.
What is actually happening is that because of religion, people are not actually living their life.
Yeah.
They are not living their life to the fullest. They are, they are pretending to live while suffocating deep inside.
Yeah.
Deep within.
Yeah.
Actually, people are really suffocating. You see, if you allow people, to explore the God in them, there'll be a whole lot of good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There'll be a whole lot of good. Actually, there'll be a whole lot of development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just physical development, but mental development, because everyone will go deep within them and tap in something. See, religion has actually made people very lazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you check most of our people, they would go, okay, from my geographical area, somewhere in Ghana
Mm-hmm.
and in Africa. People sit in church, they go to church from Monday to Monday,
Mm-hmm.
pray to God to send down money
Mm-hmm.
for them to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it's like they lack accountability. That's what I say.
And that is what religion has actually done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is
Okay.
definitely the
And-
drawback.
One time I was telling someone, I said, religion is actually a punishment to Africa. But
Yeah.
that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, right? The colonialism and everything. It's like, oh, why are you waiting on somebody to save you? You have to do the work, you know?
I always say it's a punishment to Africa. Or a punishment for Africa. But we are not God
Yeah.
who they think they are worshipping.
Yeah.
So what they have sinned, we might not have sinned that. But what we have also seen in us, we will pursue that.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Well, it was just a wonderful time talking about the difference between divinity and religion. It's a very complex topic, you know, and there is no true definition of divinity.
Divinity or religion.
Yeah, it's just you finding that God within yourself and balancing that out and flowing.
And you're gone.
And you're good. And you're good.
So I will say we should try as much as possible not to be religious, but be spiritual.
Be spiritual. Oh, I shaded that. So, yes, I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. This was a really interesting episode. I hope you guys found it very informative and thought-provoking. If you have any questions, please write emails, send me letters. I would love to, just see how you guys feel about it. Leave comments down below. And I will catch you guys in the next Living in True Divinity. Bye now.
Bye-bye.